Hello everybody, welcome back to Final Fantasy XIII-2 and what is the final area of the game.
Praise be, it's almost over.
However, you might remember that we have the ability to jump in this game, and it's never really been necessary to jump.
Yeah, because all of the areas have just been boring reused content from Final Fantasy XIII, a game that did not have a jump button. So really it's just been a, distraction from walking.
Like a convenience feature, I guess, sort of.
A convenience feature that does nothing, but a convenience feature all the same.
Well, as it turns out, they remembered that there was a jump button right now.
This is the exact point at which the Final Fantasy XIII-2 development team said, hang on a minute, you know all those people who think that Final Fantasy XIII-2 isn't going to go anywhere new? Well, fuck those people, let's turn it into a terrible platformer.
So yeah, welcome to Act 6.
Also, if you thought Orphan's Cradle was weird for having floating abstract shapes for no discernible reason, well...
Oh yeah, this area is very, special.
Yes. Special is certainly a word that I would use. Maybe also spatial. This area is spatial. I'm sorry. But yeah, the point of this is supposed... ostensibly, this is... Of course, it's also just chaos, but ostensibly this is like bits of academia are literally rearranging themselves.
Okay, so yeah, as you just saw, there are gaps. There are gaps everywhere.
Yeah, this is...
Yeah, and if you fall at any point, you will be teleported back to the last checkpoint you hit.
And of course there are literal checkpoints, because even though they tried to make a jumping puzzle, they didn't have, I'm gonna go with competence, they didn't have the competence to make a system that just puts you back on the ledge that you jumped off. No, there are actual, very binary checkpoints that you activate, and progress that you can lose. And believe me, these puzzles get stupid very fast.
There's a lot of waiting that goes into this area. It's really dumb.
Yeah, there's gonna be timing, and switches, and puzzles, and navigation, and... Man, I'd like to think that they thought that they were going all out. They were like, God, let's make the best goddamn shitty platformer that ever was released. But actually they were just... I guess we'll have some blocks, and some of the blocks will move, and I guess you'll jump between some of the blocks as they move. Oh god, how does Mario make this look so straightforward?
So, yeah. You stand there, you wait for the blocks to move, and then you have to run across before they move again.
There are some interesting physics that happen when you're on some of the blocks as they move. When I say interesting, I really just mean irritating.
And then there's also the part where you can hit switches, which change which blocks move, and...
If you're lucky, you'll know which blocks are being affected. It's really not a certainty.
Yeah, there's quite a few points in this area where you basically just kind of have to stop and look and say, like, okay, what changed?
Yeah. So I'm gonna hesitantly say the good news is that you can reach the end of this area and you can be done with it. But of course, if you're trying to go for certain completionist things, there are some things that you can only get by using the gate seal and rewinding the whole area and going through the entire stupid puzzle platformer progression again from the beginning, because fuck you.
You know, even as dumb as that is, I would still rather do that than go through another fucking instance of Academia 4XX Just for reference, at time of recording, I have just finished recording all 8 Paradox endings. I am so fucking sick of talking to Hope and Alyssa. You don't even know.
Oh. I can imagine. So yeah, that's what a checkpoint looks like.
It's just a little robotic cactar. And hey look, we just missed it.
Robotic is giving it a bit too much credit. It's a weird, geometrically weird, I'm gonna go with, like, attempted at pixelated statue of a cactuar. It's some squares arranged in a cactuar-like fashion. Is it me, or is this gonna go... Ooh, okay.
No, we made it, we made it.
So yeah, fights here aren't interesting. Yet. Fights here can get interesting.
They can, but that won't be until we meet the mini-boss, so...
They also have the good fight music. Yeah, it's kind of a stretch to think of anything about the fights that's really notable before the middle of this area. Mostly it's just you stand on a platform and you get ambushed. They seem to time it deliberately. It's not like random like it is in most areas. They have actual, like, spawns and trigger conditions and yeah.
Yeah,
platforming.
I was proud of that one. Rest assured that I will horribly fuck that up a couple times later on.
Yeah, and if you don't think you're going to be required to pull shit like that later in this area, then boy.
I don't think it's actually required. Like, if you time everything right, you can make it without having to pull stupid shit like that. But it's tough.
Yeah, it's possible to do it without, but it's, in terms of difficulty for your sanity, it makes it much easier to try and learn stupid platforming hacks. There's a couple of... What?
And then that happened. Yeah, I don't know either.
Ah. Yeah, there's a couple of items scattered around this area, and some of them are kind of out of the way, and in an even more annoying way than this game usually manages.
Yeah, for some of the ones, like, way out in the corner, what you have to do is you have to get one of those ones, wait until it spins out instead of in, and then jump off the end of the out-facing one to fall down and reach it.
Yeah. There's a bunch of far-off platforms that you have to jump down to, but, you know, good luck picking them out from the fake-out platforms that are just background objects.
Oh no, it's a plot twist. Yule is telling us to stop.
So, am I to understand that in the conclusion of this Final Fantasy XIII game, we're being told that the thing that we're doing is actually what the bad guys want us to do?
You know, I feel like I've heard this before.
Oh well. We thought that the area was getting a bit too interesting, so, you know, let's just stop that and have some combat.
Okay, so, yeah. This is it's a mini-boss. I'm not sure if I'm gonna call it interesting, but it's got an okay gimmick, I guess.
And it has this sad music, and Yule is trying to tell you something.
Yeah, Yule is trying to say something, but you will never hear her over the sound of combat, so...
It's probably the exact same as every other thing that Yule has said. It's just, you know, Yule. I mean, let's be honest, even if it was clear in your subtitles, we'd still all be tuning her out.
Alright, so... These guys, as you can probably guess, one attacks with fire, one attacks with ice. But if you kill one of them, which we will see shortly here, the other will split and revive it. But it will do so with its current HP, so it's not like it happens forever. It's just a little annoying.
So they basically share an HP pool.
Sort of. Like, they're separate at the start, but like, if you kill if it splits when this one has half HP.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so like this one the other one will spawn with like half HP.
So it literally spawns it at its current health. Right. Okay. Oh yeah, that's a legit gimmick. Of course, you can fuck them up right fast, so there's only so much that this matters. See Final Fantasy XIII-2's difficulty curve, generally.
Yeah, also it takes a long time for them to do the split animation, so you can probably kill it after that first one. No problem.
Yeah, if you're really being attentive, you can probably do it before they actually even split.
And for us destroying this fight, we get a Chivo.
What, this fight specifically has a Chivo attached?
Yes, if you 5-star this fight, you do get a Chivo.
This specific fight, and not, other boss fights generally, and I don't know. Well, gee, maybe if you all had talked outside of a fight, we might have heard what she was saying.
I wonder if it was Caius' doing. A trick to slow us down.
Also, I think we already have a trick to slow you down. It's called Academia 500 AF. So welcome to Switches.
The blocks have changed position.
Looks like we can cross.
Did you notice what changed? Because I sure as shit did not.
So yeah, pressing the switches will make certain blocks stop moving and certain blocks start moving. And it also changes their starting position as well, so you get all kinds of fun stuff going on here.
It can be basically impossible to tell. Mostly because there's a lot of it is, it would blend into the background anyway if it wasn't moving. And you'd expect stuff like, it would make obvious changes that you could see, or, at the very least it would point you at the thing that it was changing, or there'd be indicators or something. Like, come on. How hard can this be? Oh well.
The one saving grace of this area is that it is not particularly long. Like, the entire thing, like, even not sped up, is only about an hour.
Oh, only about an hour. Well, that's. I'm glad that I know that.
Again, most of that time is spent waiting.
Game design. It's like, I honestly don't know. I joked earlier about how maybe they thought that they were doing something big and grand and interesting, but I honestly do legitimately wonder what they were thinking, what they thought that this was going to be like, whether or not they thought that this was actually some kind of great platformer. Just what the hell was going through their minds when they came up with this? Given the other stuff that we've already seen them come up with. Also nice.
Yeah, that's 2 in a row. Definitely.
No edits or cuts or other fuck-ups.
That's right. Nothing has been edited out of this video to show that I am not pro as hell at this.
This is some Grandmaster level shit. No, I'm sorry, I can't keep up this pretense, I'm sorry. This area is dull as shit, and it ruins anyone's ability to think while playing it. It will ruin your spatial reasoning, it will make you curse everything. And while it's doing all that, it will somehow still manage to make you bored. I guess, like Orphan's Cradle, this area, just taken as a standalone aesthetic thing, is pretty damn cool. I mean, there's something to be said for just the sheer geometric weirdness of it.
Yeah, like, it is sort of like a kind of weird, creepy environment. It does work in that respect, but
it also has the exact same problem aesthetically that Orphan's Cradle had, which is that eventually it occurs to you to ask, like, well, what the shit is any of this supposed to actually be? I mean, Orphan's Cradle was like supposed to be the inside of a computer or some stupid thing, and they were like, oh, these are literally blocks of data, because we've heard the word block used in conjunction with the word data before somewhere in our lives. So it at least had an excuse, if not a very good one. But this is like... this is supposed to be bits of academia rearranging themselves into something else.
I think the words that the game actually uses is that it is turning academia into Valhalla.
Right.
Don't ask me how that one works.
That makes even less sense than what I thought that it was going for. I mean, I thought it was like it was turning it into like either a shelter or an ark or something to do with holding up Cocoon. I forget the details. But you know, that one's pretty fucking weird too. So all of these blocks are supposed to be pieces of academia, and it's like, how the shit did any of this fit together to form the thing that we saw before? How does any of this work? Period. This place, for how cool it looks, is just dumb. Oh well.
Yeah, so, the Monogamar is... I would be willing to bet it is literally the exact same fight it was in 13. Like, straight down to, like, damage numbers and everything.
Oh, I didn't even recognise it as something familiar. Also, what... was that just some hitbox fuckery?
Yeah, that was more hitbox bullshit.
Oh well. Once again, see if you can spot what's changing. The game does at least point you in something resembling a helpful direction. But, you know, damn if it tells you how it helps.
So, this particular switch, what it does, is it makes that one rotate 4 blocks instead of, like, it goes around 4 times instead of twice. So it hits every one of these stops instead of just the 2 on the side.
And that's pretty fucking insidious. Because you'd look at that, and for most of the time, if you looked at it, it would, even if you were paying very careful attention, it would appear to just be doing the exact same shit that it was before. It's only if you literally watch it for the entire cycle, which for 75% of it will appear to be identical, will you actually see what's changed. And I don't know if we should give them credit for thinking to be that much of an asshole, or whether we should not give them credit for it not occurring to them how much of an asshole they were being. Well, that one at least is somewhat obvious.
You would think.
Okay.
No, we were supposed to go backwards and go up the other side.
Oh, of course we were.
Yeah, see, it's like we got up there, it's like, okay, that's gotta be it. That's the one, right? No. You were supposed to completely turn around.
Oh, good work. So the helpful direction that it pointed you in was actually not even a helpful direction, it was an outright lie. Game design.
Yeah, this area is just designed really poorly.
Oh hey, this one's almost giving you trouble.
Sort of. Kalu's whole thing is that, like, he does power spritz, which gives him, like, every buff, and then he does rush, which does about 7,000 damage.
Well, you know.
That's all he does. Of course, the caveat is that he has pretty low HP, so you can just rush him down. It's not particularly hard.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's one of the classic JRPG combat choices: is do you try and defend, or do you just kill it before it kills you? You can make some interesting stuff out of that setup. But, you know, we've had the whole game to be doing that. So really it just kind of falls flat, really. When you start out in this area, the, like, shimmering water texture on these things looks kind of cool. And as with more or less everything else to do with this area, the more you go into it and the more you look at it, the faster and the more completely it dawns on you how fucking stupid it is.
Alright, so yeah, this section here is the final platforming section, and it's kind of a bitch.
Kind of.
So basically, you have to start by crossing the center gap and coming all the way to the left-hand side, where you'll hit this switch. Alright, so far so good, that's pretty straightforward.
So far, so 13-2.
Alright, so absolutely nothing changed, right? Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah. I was gonna ask.
Hahaha, nope, fuck you.
Yeah, that's pretty spiteful.
Okay, so now we get dropped back on the right side, so we have to hit the switch again, and then go all the way back across.
Yeah. I kind of joked about the word spiteful earlier, but, you know, now we're here, I'm going to stick with it. Also, that is the least hidden treasure sphere ever.
Well, it's not really hidden so much as it's... You gotta realize, like, oh, I'm supposed to fall off it when it's facing the wrong direction.
Well, no, I just mean that it's, like, it's supposed to be transparent, but actually it's, like, bright and garish and probably more visible than the regular one would have been.
Okay, so no, we hit that switch, we come up to this side, we climb up here, right?
Right.
Now this one's gonna rotate.
Right.
And then we go up this staircase here.
So far, still only kind of spiteful.
And then we go back and we do the whole thing over again.
Honestly, you really should have kind of seen that one coming, really.
And then this encounter happens.
So, that's a behemoth and a XIII, or however it is you actually pronounce that.
Oh no, this is Schrodinger.
Oh, yeah, well, this is the species.
So these little fucks, they have a ton of HP, and all that they do is cast Deprotectica. That's it. Constantly. When you're in the same fight as a proto-behemoth.
Well, that sounds just delightful.
So, priority number one is to getting rid of these little shits, because you will get fucked up.
Man, this seems like one of those rare instances where the Commando medic might come in handy.
Possibly. Because, yeah, like, the behemoth does about 3,000 damage a swing with Deprotecta.
Well, I guess you could counter it if you had a synergist with Protector.
You could, I guess, but really, it's not quite dangerous enough to demand somebody on full-time rebuffing, so it's really just safer to just...
Well, it would buy you a lot of... Yeah, there's a lot of approaches to this. This is one of the things that's actually good about the Final Fantasy XIII system, is that even if there's only one way to make a fight good, the way that fight can be made good is, you know, pretty flexible. Also, are you gonna bring in a medic?
Yeah, I wanted to get rid of the other Schrodinger first.
It just seemed like you were pushing your luck a bit. Yeah, so yeah, this is one of the encounters in this game that actually presents some actual difficulty, even if you're horrifically over-leveled.
Yeah, like, there is no amount of numbers that will make this fight easy.
Yeah. Well, you know, that I'm gonna file that as a good thing, given this game's difficulty curve generally.
So, once you get the behemoth on his own, he's not too bad. But he doesn't have a lot of HP, so it's very easy to trigger him into standing up.
Okay. You say that as if that would have gone somewhere, even if you hadn't immediately killed him.
Okay, the thing is, I cut out the first attempt, where immediately after he stood up, first of all, he gets a full heal and completely wipes his D-boss.
Well, that's standard.
And then secondly, he basically one-shot me with about 7,000 points of damage.
Not so standard, but, you know, it's a behemoth, what do you expect?
But yeah, no, like, that guy is really dangerous, and you really want to kill him before he stands up.
No, you must not fight Caius.
Anyway, we're getting more cryptic warnings from Yule.
Your path leads only to
I would like to think that she's been sensible enough to talk to us outside of a fight, but, you know, I also know how the designers of this game think, so I don't actually think that.
What's going to happen?
a cruel fate, endlessly repeated with no hope of release. I cannot see any future.
You're wrong, Yule. I believe in
Do
hope.
you know? Do you really?
But what if hope does not exist?
I can't turn back now. Not anymore.
I don't know.
The world you no longer exist.
This is if any game had the kind of plot set up that could actually justify this believe in anything bullshit, it would be this game, the game where we're literally jumping through time and changing the past by changing the future.
Even if the future you choose is doomed.
Huh. My expectations are subverted. There was not a boss fight just now.
So yeah, this is it. Once we cross that bridge, that is the final boss. So, we will see you guys for that next time.
You ever think that the phrase point of no return is kind of meaningless in this game?
Yeah, it really is.
Oh well. I guess we'll have to find some other way to kind of bullshit up some tension. See you next time.